Greetings, it is Shadow Control. Today, we will talk about the first results of our experiments.
Dear friends, as you remember, a certain while ago, Stefan expressed his willingness to fight an incubus. However, we pondered and decided that it would be definitely more pleasant for Stefan to work with a succubus.
Yes, as a matter of fact, we received many requests for help. And one of the requests was from a man in Europe, a participant of our movement. He's a really good person. He does a lot of good for people, so we decided to help him because he got into a very difficult situation due to visits of a succubus. Even his family has been ruined. And in addition, very serious problems began with his health, up to the point that the man was already on the verge of life and death. Neither psychiatrists nor other physicians succeeded in helping him, so we decided to help him. As I say, to combine something pleasant with something useful, to help this person and at the same time to conduct our experiment.
Yes, dear friends, it's been a successful experiment. We succeeded not right away, but at the 6th try. We spent a certain amount of time on this because there were some difficulties. Well, first of all, we couldn't do it every day. We did it when we had an opportunity. And a very important thing that we faced was synchronization. Since Stefan and our participant from another country are in different time zones, we had to work with synchronization. Because shadows do not attack a person when secondary consciousness is active. While the most convenient moment for a shadow to attack a person is when a person falls asleep. Personality is still connected to primary consciousness, but there is no deep sleep yet. This is the most vulnerable moment. So we had to synchronize it all. That's why we spent some time on it. But we succeeded.
Well, yes. Plus, there is such a fact that shadows are actually very sensitive creatures, and they feel when they are being hunted. There were 3 of us working together. We stimulated this creature. As a result of this stimulation, it was very aggressive. Shadows are subtle material creatures. Therefore, in order for them to manifest in this world visibly, they need stimulation, which we have actually done.
To understand how this process took place, just imagine an eternally hungry evil being that is accustomed, let's say, to eat from the same plate at the same time, so to say. When it has an open access to an object and can drain energy from it without any hindrance. And then, one fine day, when this creature came and basically connected to the person, it realized that it was about to eat. But suddenly, some force pulled it off and transferred it to another object. Just imagine an eternally hungry creature that had its food taken away before it was about to eat it. What kind of mood, in your opinion, did it have? Naturally, this action infuriated the creature, and when it realized that it had been moved to another object, who, let's say, was not going to feed it so simply, it provoked extreme aggression and very strong material manifestations. For shadows, it is necessary to stimulate a person's emotions in order to get his energy. That is, to influence him somehow. Of course, it's one thing when you have a bad dream, but it's another thing when you face real metaphysical manifestations. This surely provokes strong emotions. Of course, it is good for a shadow. It just eats.
Yes, these are living creatures. They are very intelligent, and they are always hungry. In particular, this shadow which we worked with was quite mature and very strong.
Thank you very much for the detailed description of the experiment. Now, let's watch together how it took place. Well, after what we have seen, I would certainly like to ask you first, Tapan. Could you please tell us what you experienced when the shadow came? How did you feel?
I thought that I was a hero, that, yeah, I would handle it easily. I thought I was always on a positive wave. I had the strength, I was able to,
And you went into this experiment with an expectation that everything would work out for you.
Yes, exactly. Yes, sure. My mistake was exactly that I thought. I thought that I somehow, like a hero. I do it easily. In reality, the last time when the experiment worked out, that was it. I couldn't do anything. In those seconds, literally seconds, I forgot about everything. About Lotus, just about everything that I had thought and heard in my head. I forgot it instantly. There is such strength there. It's like such a panic. You don't know what to do at all. At the moment when the shadow already manifested metaphysically and lifted me up, I don't know. It seems that my self-preservation instinct switched on, and I somehow managed to escape. I don't know, during those seconds, probably because I somehow reflexively plunged into Lotus. I just sat down and started doing the Lotus practice. But it was useless. I was like in a deadlock, and the practice didn't really go. If there is no consistency in daily work, 24/7, there is no other way. If there is something like in my case, when I relaxed and thought more than felt, that's it. Not this around, but living by the spiritual world every second. But it showed me that I still have to do a lot of work. And I mustn't stop working on myself and controlling thoughts. I should immediately cast aside what I think. Who actually thinks in me and pretends to be a hero?
Well, finally you did remember that you had to start the practice, right? What happened at that moment?
Not right away. Not immediately. But I somehow had to make an effort to relax. It is very subtle. It squeezes so much, up to the tip of a needle, and you have to come really deeply in order to see this little light coming from the soul and reach out there. It is a very good experience for me. I'm very grateful to everyone for this experiment. After that, you think less and do more. You already live in the present. You know, in the book As the Osmos, a lot is also written. When Igor Mikhailovich, sensei, explains how important and serious this is, but consciousness doesn't allow us to understand it. It's like he exaggerates, it's nothing. And then I recalled the video, Suicide, the after-death fate, when that scientist became our participant. In practice, it's very tough, and you wouldn't recommend anyone to have such experience. But if you got it and started to live on, then you already live. If you decided for yourself that you want to live, you will live. You will be on your way to the light.
Absolutely right. A person who really loves God, who is always with Him, who is in constant communication with the spiritual world and in this unity with the spiritual world, he is not really subject and cannot be subject to the influence of shadows. And when he falls asleep, this state of unity with the spiritual world continues. It's a prayerful state, a deep state of inner dialogue with the spiritual world. And speaking of prayerful states, I don't mean those prayers when a person asks God for something. I'm talking about real, inner, deep prayerful states, where there is this very inner appeal, inner unity, and inner aspiration of a person for the spiritual world, for the God. And in order to come to these inner, really deep states, to these real prayerful states, there is a direct way. It's the lotus flower spiritual practice. This very practice gives this inner union, inner fusion, and internal enhancement of this deep dialogue with the spiritual world, which takes place inside a person. Therefore, the lotus flower spiritual practice is a straight path, a direct path to God.
It's true, friends. If a person falls asleep with God, he wakes up with God as well. So, a shadow is not just unable to connect to him, but it cannot even approach him.
Yes, I absolutely agree with what you're saying, because I also experience these states of shadow attacks, and I'm very familiar with those states which Stepan is describing, where there is fear and total helplessness. But at that time, I succeeded in resisting them, and I was able to overcome them through meditations, spiritual practices, and the lotus flower. It seems to me I could confront them now as well.
So, do you want to try?
Why not?
Well, friends, in such a case we are waiting for another experiment. We wish you all the best.
See you soon, dear friends.